start with introducing myself. I'm Leslie Meadows. I'm the Alexander County Soil and Water Conservation District Education Coordinator and the Administrative Specialist for our office. And I'm the only one who stayed for tonight. I do have some coworkers, but I guess they thought I was capable of handling this. So the overall objective of this contest is to give the students an opportunity to gain knowledge of our natural resources and the management of our natural resources while developing their speaking and leadership skills. We believe this will in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth for the student. And I also want to say before we begin that I want to congratulate all of you for making it to this level. As the county speech contest, to be here tonight, you had to win at your school level. So we already know that you've shown that you've done a good job and you're already a winner. But tonight we'll be choosing the 7th and 8th grade county level winners. And to do that, we have to have judges. So I want to introduce our judges first. Jeffrey Dilbert. He currently teaches at Lenoir-Rhyne University in their Journalism and Mass Communications department as an assistant professor. He received his PhD from the University of Missouri in political rhetoric and has been teaching courses in public speaking for 6 years. We had Dwayne Coley in the middle. He serves as the artistic director for the Alexander County Schools, and he's done this and enjoyed doing this job for the past 8 years. His job responsibilities include directing the high school's theater program. He received his bachelor's degree in sociology and psychology from Lenoir-Rhyne University and has a master's in education from Southeastern Seminary. He also has completed managing the arts program at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And Laura Crooks. This is her 2nd year as our director at the Alexander County Library. She has her bachelor's degree in English from Appalachian State University and her master's in library and information science from UNC Greensboro. She and her husband and their 2 boys reside in Bethlehem, and she has really enjoyed living and working in Alexander County. So thank you all for giving your time and expertise. And just to go over the rules before we start, each year our Soil and Water contest has a theme that is environmental education related, and this year our theme is Water, the Cycle of Life. This theme aimed to highlight the unique characteristics of water as an element, the nature of the global water cycle, and the importance of the water cycle in order for all types of life to exist. I hoped that it helps students gain an understanding of why water cannot be treated as a commodity, but as a necessity for life and must be conserved, protected, and shared for generations to come. Our judges will be using the following point system. There's about 50 points that's based on the content of your speech. This is your knowledge of the subject, your organizational skills, originality, and the skillful use of facts and examples and statistics. Your other 50 points are will be judging your speaking skills in particular. So this is your voice and diction, your body language, eye contact, and all those elements. There are things that you can get points taken away for. Point deductions are -5 points for the use of any visual aids, -5 points for going over or under the time limit of 4 to 6 minutes, and -2 points for giving personal information. And a couple logistical things just for everybody before we call up our first contestant. The bathrooms. If you will, please don't leave the room while a student is speaking, but if you need to use the restroom, they're back out the way you came, and to the left you'll see the water fountains. Please turn off all cell phones at this time. If you have to take a call, please, like I said, don't leave while a student is speaking. And when the students have all finished, our judges will confer in a separate room, and we'll have refreshments in here. So, the students chose numbers as to their order, and the first 7th grade person didn't show up. So if you are number 2, please come to the front. And just whenever you get ready,
As a water drop, I can positively tell you that water is the cycle of life. I play a major role in it, so I can tell you exactly what it does, how it is being polluted, and what you can do to help. Water pollution will and does hurt you, and it continues to be polluted every day. You need waters for factory, cars, electricity, agriculture, cleaning, eating, and drinking. Even humans are made partially of water. 97% of our water is in the ocean, and we aren't able to drink it, even though it covers 70% of our surface. Water is polluted in many ways by humans. You are polluting what you depend on to survive. You may think that water pollution can't hurt meat or plants. That's wrong. Water pollution is transferred to meat by biomagnification. This process transfers toxic pollutants to, say, a cow, where it is magnified by 4 times what it was. By the time we eat, pollutants can be 8 times or more what it was in the first place. Water pollution is estimated to kill 14,000 people per day. It could be from smog, a black fog made up of pollutants getting in water from cars or factories, biomagnification, or any other type of pollutants in the water. Humans in America take their clean water for granted daily. Some things, such as cloudiness and temperature, are natural causes of pollution and are out of human control. When the temperature in the water gets warmer, oxygen in the water decreases and kills fish. Fats and grease from food pollute our water because of humans throwing them in the water. Fertilizer from farms run downhill when it rains and can get into water. Cows or other animals moving around in water can stir the water up and make it unclean. If you throw trash in the water, not only are you polluting water, but animals could eat the trash or get tangled up in it, and it could kill them. These are just some of the ways that water is being polluted. You may be wondering what you can do to help water pollution. You can help by learning what we are already doing to help. You waste a lot of water by leaving water running without a purpose while you are brushing your teeth or washing your hands. You should never leave water running continuously. And be cautious of what you put in your drains. Paints and oils can be harmful to water when put in drains. However, everything you're doing is not detrimental to the environment. One good thing that you are doing is using the ozone to treat wastewater. The ozone can oxidize bacteria, molds, organic material, and other water pollutants. There are some problems with this, such as the fact that it requires electricity. Therefore, we can't depend on it to be effective all the time. Some of the water we use today has been around for ages, thanks to the water cycle. After it rains or precipitates, water runs downhill in a process called runoff. After it makes it down the hill and evaporates into the sky, it condensates into a cloud. When the cloud gets full, it precipitates, starting the water cycle over again. The water cycle recycles water and allows you to use it over again. The next time you use water, think about it being the same water that dinosaurs drank. In conclusion, our water is being polluted, and you can help just as the water cycle does. Think about the different ways you use water. Are you helping the environment?
Hi, I'm Toby the Catfish, and today I'm here to tell you about water, the cycle of life. Like how water conservation can help keep the ponds looking great, how it can save you money, and how it can help the community. Also, how dirty water can affect my life and how the water cycle works. I also thought you might want to know about how air pollution can affect the water. I hope you learn a lot about water, the cycle of life. Water conservation is so important. It helps preserve natural resources and means more water for wildlife. Practices can result in lower wastewater discharges. With lower wastewater discharge rates, we can have improvement in our water quality. We can also diminish our need to find or build new water resources. Whenever we do this, we have more water for our later uses. Water conservation can save you tons of money each year. It can also reduce the money paid for water use each month for a household. Community can save on pumping and treating water, delays and expenditures for additional water sources and treatment facilities. It can also mean that we can have more water for summer months and droughts. Communities should make a program that discourages the wasteful use of water. Dirty water can do way more than you think. Oil from your cars, gum, and plastic bags can get into our water. Oil causes us not to breathe and causes our systems to shut down very easily. Gum and plastic bags are similar. If gum is swallowed, it can get stuck inside of us and we cannot be able to digest it. We can also swallow whole or pieces of plastic bags, which causes our systems to shut down also. Please be careful because I would not like to die because you do not watch your habits. The water cycle is important to you and me both. If we didn't have it, we would not be alive. First, evaporation occurs. That is when the sun heats the water and it rises into the atmosphere and turns into water vapor. Then condensation occurs. That is when the water vapor cools and turns back into water and settles on dust, pollen, and salt particles in our atmosphere and forms our clouds. Precipitation then occurs, which can come in the form of rain, sleet, snow, or hail. That is what we see that falls onto our ground and into our wells, ground, ponds, lakes, and oceans. That is how the water cycle is important to my life and yours. Air pollution is really bad when you are talking about our water. When the factories, car emissions, and volcanoes enter CFCs into our air, it gets into our water, which is also in the clouds. When we drink the water or eat fish or other animals that have pollution in them, it causes biomagnification to occur. That is when the air pollution is multiplied by 4. That is how come air pollution is so bad, because we can also get it just from eating or drinking our water or eating fish. Here are some interesting facts about water. Plants, trees, crops, animals, insects, and even humans depend on our water. Humans are made up of 70% of water, and Earth is made up of 70% of water. The water cycle recycles our water, which means we're also drinking the same water that George Washington drank when he was alive. Transpiration is when our water evaporates from the plants. 9% of the rain falls onto the ground. Others lands in lakes, ponds, and oceans. Water moving underground is called percolation. Sun and gravity are the most important to our water cycle. Without the water, we would not be able to live. We can only go a week without water. We can go 2 weeks or more without food. 13% of our water is fresh. The other 87% is salt. This is why we need to drink lots of water and be careful what we do to it. I hope you learned a lot about water, the cycle of life, water conservation, how dirty water can affect me, the water cycle, and some interesting facts. I have to go now, and I'd love to talk again sometime.
Water, H2O. Both are names we've heard before, but do you really understand what water means to all things living on Earth? If the Earth did not have water, there would be no plants, because plants have to have water to live. And without plants, the herbivores would become extinct. And without plants and herbivores, carnivores carnivores and omnivores, like humans, could not survive. But even if there were carnivores and omnivores, we could not survive if we could eat, because there would still be no water for us to drink. The water we have on Earth now is all the water there will ever be. In the desert, where water is to a minimum, the life forms are few. The species that live there are adapted to their climate. In a tropical rainforest where there is nothing but water, there are thousands upon thousands of different species. The difference is one has enough water to support the animals, and the one can't. Humans are 70% water by volume. That means not only do we have enough, that not only do we have to drink water to survive, we are mostly made of it. The Earth's surface is 75% to 80% covered in water. Many of the foods that we eat are made of water too. An egg is 74% water, and a tomato is 95% water. So you may ask, where does all the water come from? Oceans hold 97.4% of the water on Earth. Ice caps and glaciers, which are melting, hold 1.984% of the water. Lakes and rivers, which is where our drinking water comes from, is only 0.071% of the Earth's total water. Now we all know what water is, but what is it made out of and how is it made? Water is a combination of two molecules and is scientifically referred to as H2O. This means it is made of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. These atoms join together, forming the molecule. This tiny little molecule is what holds up our Earth, because without it, everything we know and love today would be non-existent. Life would be non-existent if there was no such thing as H2O.
Water, the cycle of life. Tonight I'm going to tell everyone about the water cycle and the ways to keep our water safe and clean, and to tell everyone how important our water is to our everyday life. The water cycle is a very important thing and a part of the cycle of life. It starts with evaporation, which is water. It happens when the water vapor comes up from the oceans, rivers, lakes, or streams. Next comes condensation. It happens when the water vapor comes from the clouds. Then is precipitation. That is when the water droplets falls from the clouds. Next is after it's snow, rain, hail, or sleet, it will soon go back to the oceans, lakes, rivers, or streams like a surface runoff. Some reasons we need to have clean water is clean water is good for our human body, since our body is made from 70 to 90% of water. We need clean water to drink, to cook, and to make many more beverages like juice to soda. We need clean water to do many things. If we fail at keeping our water clean, we may never have any food or water to drink, like sodas and fruits. Another reason, if we fail to keep our water clean, we may increase the polluted precipitation. Polluted precipitation is very harmful to everyone and everything it falls on. We cannot live without it. We must do everything possible to maintain its qualities and the life inside it for today and the future beyond us. There's about 98% of the Earth's water is salt water. The other rest is made up from our Earth's continents and islands. All plants and animals need water to survive. Mostly trees need a lot of water to grow. About 75% of trees is made from water. Without water, trees won't have water to make oxygen for us to breathe in. About 1% of the Earth's water is only suitable and available for human use. Water is made up from two elements, hydrogen and oxygen, which is called H2O. Water has three different states: liquid, solid, and gas. Water pollution and low quality can lead to dangerous viruses. Although a person can only live weeks without eating, a person can only live 1 week without water. About 12%, or 884 million people do not have access to safe water. About 1.8 million children die each year as a result of unclean water. Worldwide, approximately 425 million children under 18 do not have access to safe water. Water is a very important thing to everyone and everything. We also need to keep our air clean, because if we don't, it could affect our water qualities. Everyone needs to use less fossil fuel. We should use less transportation by walking or riding our bikes to our schools, to our works, or anywhere. By using less factories, we could not be polluting the air. Polluting the air can cause greenhouse effect by the smoke from the factories or cars. Most important is recycling and picking up the trash off the ground, because sooner or later it will end up in the oceans, lakes, rivers, whatever. And it can make our water dirty, and it will be unsafe for us to drink. The water we drink today is the same water that dinosaurs drank a long time ago. 75% of our brain is made up from water. Without water, we will have dehydration and probably die. Even the smallest plants need to have a bit of little water to survive. We need to make a change and clean up our water and save our water from disappearing. We use water every day to brush our teeth, take our showers, and take baths and cook, and most important is to drink. Water is not something to use again and again. If we use too much of it, we won't have enough of it to use for the future use. That's why we need to keep our water safe and clean, or else we won't have water anymore. If we don't clean our water, it will be disappearing. Remember, water is the most important thing in life. Water is what's keeping life. Earth completes the cycle of life. Thank you.
Water, the cycle of life. Not all water in the world is safe to drink because of all the bacteria and contamination in the water. More than 3.4 million people die each year. There is not very much water on Earth for human consumption. Most of the water in the world is frozen in the ice caps. When pollution gets into the water, it is very hard to get back out. Whenever soil gets carried into water by rain, it can cause the water to get cloudy. Cloudy water takes in more sunlight than clear water. When water gets cloudy, the temperature may rise. When water temperature gets too high, it can cause stress or kill organisms in the water. When silt gets washed into a stream, it can become sediment. When too much sediment gets on the bottom of a stream, it can kill invertebrates. It can also harm the fish eggs on the bottom. The nutrients in water like nitrogen and when water enters a stream from land, it causes aquatic plants to grow. The level of algae in water can reach nuisance levels. Livestock also affects the water. When livestock crosses a field to go to the stream to get a drink of water, it causes erosion. When the pH gets below 6.0, aquatic plants die. Water is a chemical compound. Only 2.5% of Earth's water is fresh water. Water also stays locked in the ground. Many manufacturing units use fresh water and estuary to carry away waste, which causes pollution in our water. Most of our rivers, lakes, and estuaries have too much pollution in them. When people put pollution into the ground, they also are polluting water. Pollution in water spreads in many areas. Oil spills hurt the water in many different ways. Soil also affects the water. It can change the water pH and quality. When soil erodes, it puts contamination in the water. When contamination gets into the water, it harms the fish that live in it and the animals that use it. The living plants in water are algae and lichen. The animals are... that's it.
Hello panel, I'm Paige Cooper, and I'll be speaking with you today about the water cycle. The water cycle is a very important cycle. It controls life such as you, me, and other living organisms. Life revolves around the water cycle because our blood is 83% water. Without water, we would die. We use water to drink, wash, and play in. This is the second most important compound after air. I have some interesting facts about the water. Water is one of the few elements that can be changed to a solid, to a liquid, and to a gas. And I think it's very interesting how water that we drink today is the same water dinosaurs drank in a million years ago. The water cycle has 5 steps. The first step is evaporation. Evaporation is where water molecules get heated from the sun and they go quickly up into the atmosphere. And this comes from water formations like the ocean, seas, lakes, and rivers. This is 90% of the evaporation system. Our second step is transpiration. Transpiration is very similar to evaporation, except instead of dealing with water formations, you're dealing with plants like grass, flowers, and especially trees. Did you know a full-grown oak tree produces 100 gallons of water vapor per day? And this is 10% of the evaporation system. The third step is condensation. Condensation is where vapor is cooled and turned back to a liquid. My example for this is a goldfish bowl. A goldfish bowl is usually room temperature, and so if you put it in a refrigerator that is like cold air, the cold air meets the hot air and it makes a fog around the glass of the goldfish bowl, and that is like a condensation cloud. Our fourth step is precipitation. Precipitation is where the condensation clouds and water droplets get too heavy and they fall. Some forms of precipitation is snow, sleet, and rain. We actually experience some precipitation today through rain. The last step is runoff. This is where precipitation pours on land and may cause erosion. Erosion is very bad for the environment, so some ways we can help stop erosion is use strip cropping and to manage livestock grazing. Runoff is like a stream and eventually runs into the ocean. I'm going to talk about water importance. Like I said earlier in my speech, we drink, wash, and play with our water. Fresh water is only 3% of Earth and 97% is salt water. Of that fresh water, 2% is not reachable because of ice caps, so only 1% is used for other living organisms to thrive on. We need to help conserve our water because it's decreasing as our generations go by. Some ways we can help is to use less water and to recycle. In the end, the water cycle produces 1 million billion gallons of water per day, and life on Earth depends on this. The water cycle is important, and we must conserve and help the environment for our generation and generations to come. Thank you for listening to my speech about the water cycle.
Water, the cycle of life. Earth is known as the blue planet because 75% of its surface is covered in water. The water on Earth today is the same water that was on the Earth when it was created. It has been recycled over and over again through the process known as the water cycle. Put simply, the sun's heat causes water to evaporate or turn into water vapor. This is like when we boil a pot of water on the stove. The steam you see rising from the pot is water that has evaporated because of the heat. The vapor rises and then condenses in the cooler air to form clouds. When clouds become larger and heavier, the water falls back to Earth in the form of precipitation. This can be rain, snow, sleet, or hail. I know what you're thinking. If the water cycle is recycling the water, then there's nothing to worry about, right? Well, I'm sorry to say that you're wrong. 97% of the water on Earth is salt water and is unusable. 2% is locked in ice caps and glaciers. This leaves only 1% of the world's water for us to use, and we use a lot of water. Each person uses around 80 to 100 gallons of water every day. We use it to make food, to manufacture goods, for household needs, and for having fun. Each time you flush, you use 1.5 to 5 gallons of water. Remember that nice rain? Well, where does it go? Most precipitation ends up in the oceans, lakes, and rivers because, once again, this covers 3/4 of the planet. Anything ending in the ocean we can't use because it is salt water. Rain that falls over land infiltrates into the topsoil and is used by plants. Some percolates or follows the path of least resistance, even deeper, and is stored as groundwater. This is what we access using wells. When it rains really hard, the ground can't always keep up with the water, and so some travels across the surface as runoff and flows into rivers and streams. The runoff, however, causes erosion and carries sediment into the rivers with it. Only 7.5% of the available land on Earth has the correct nutrients, water, and air mixture to grow food. Several inches of this topsoil is being washed away every year. It takes 100 to 1,000 years to recover 1 inch of that topsoil. The nutrients are good for the water, though, right? Wrong again. The soil and the water, called sediment, causes a problem called sedimentation, which fills up rivers and is the #1 pollutant of water in North Carolina. Humans only make these issues worse through road construction, development, mining, agriculture, and cutting down trees that would otherwise hold the soil in place. There are ways that we can help stop the problem too. In agriculture, we can practice contour and no-till farming, strip cropping, and managing the grazing of our livestock. You can also avoid using too many insecticides and fertilizers. Other ways we can help is by regulating other pollutants like oils, paints, and plain old litter. A single quart of oil from your car can contaminate 250,000 gallons of water. You can also simply use water carefully. That leaky pipe in your basement or under the sink is wasting 2,000 gallons of water every year. Just covering your pool when you are not in it can save 5,000 gallons per year. These are simple tasks that can help the environment. Without the water cycle, what would we do? We would have run out of water a long time ago. That is why we need to take responsibility and protect the water we have so that we never run out. We have had the same water on the earth forever. If we run out now, then that's it. So take action now. Thank you for listening.
I'm going to get our judges settled in a back room and let them confer on the scores, but I do want to say I thought everyone did a great job. It always amazes me how much outside research that these kids do on their own. So I'm very grateful for their dedication and participation and to take on that extra workload with the rest of their schoolwork.